In the Jewish world, it turns out that November is Mizrachi Heritage Month. I'm a little late to the game. I apologize, but I did want to share a little bit about a Mizrachi custom that is coming up in Hanukkah season. So couple of things first. So, Mizrachi Jews are Jews who traditionally come from the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. It's a population that has generally been exiled from that area, which is not an unfamiliar story to a lot of Jews, whether we're Ashkenazim, Sephardim, or Mizrahim. So we'll continue to talk about that in a minute. But the story that most of us are familiar with for Hanukkah comes from 1st and 2nd Maccabees, which are apocryphal texts, meaning these are post-Tanakhic texts, right? So after the Tanakh, the Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, the Torah, the writings, and the prophets have been codified, and we sort of said we're not adding any more text into Jewish scriptures, right? Into what we consider the Hebrew Bible. So these are Second Temple period writings, including 1st and 2nd Maccabees, and turns out that there's a holiday that is largely associated with the book of Judith also. So I found a lovely article by Jackie Barsby that talks about Judith and this holiday. And so I wanted to share with you just a little bit. So she asks, have you heard of Judith, also known as Yehudit, the Jewish heroine who also saved her people? As the story of the apocryphal Book of Judith goes, she was a beautiful, clever woman who decapitated the Assyrian general Holofernes, thus preventing a siege of her hometown in Bethulia. She goes on to say, I learned a bit about Judith in art history class. There are many Baroque and Renaissance depictions of her in action, the most famous being Judith beheading Holofernes, I'm going to work on this name, by Artemisia Gentileschi. But it wasn't until I started researching Mizrachi culture that I realized Judith's story is connected to Hanukkah and that there's a special Mizrachi Hanukkah tradition that honors Judith, as well as subsequent generations of strong Jewish women. It's a holiday that falls on the new moon of the Hebrew month of Tevet, which is the 6th or 7th night of Hanukkah. This year, hold on, I can tell you, my friends, Tevet is going to be on, helps if I get my calendar up right. Tevet begins on the 25th of December. So there you go. She goes on to say, and is called Chag HaBanot, the Festival of the Daughters. Chag HaBanot, which is also known as Eid al-Banot in Judeo-Arabic, honors the story of Judith, as well as the special relationships among Jewish women. During this holiday, which was celebrated in Tunisia, Morocco, Libya, Algeria, among others, women would get together and sing and dance and bake sweet treats and give gifts to one another. In some communities, women would visit the synagogue to kiss the Torah scrolls and be blessed by the rabbi. They would recite Jewish liturgical poems known as piyutim and pray for the health and well-being of the women in their lives. This custom nearly disappeared over the past 2 generations as most Jews fled Arab countries across the Middle East and North Africa amid violent attacks. According to the UK Parliament in 1945, 856,000 Jews lived in the region, and today only about 4,500 remain. You'll notice that those numbers, right, are started in 1945. In 1948, as Israel became a state, a lot of Arab nations ejected their Jewish populations. And there's a lot to say about this. And that we, as people who are very much embraced in the mainstream of Judaism and the United States, have this wonderful opportunity and obligation to embrace other Jewish ways of celebrating and commemorating holidays that may not necessarily be native to the places that we are from, but honors our co-religionists and can really enhance our celebration. So I love this idea that along with the Maccabees, this strong group of men who held out and who battled Antiochus um, and brought the temple back into its glory. We also get to celebrate strong Jewish women, and that we have an opportunity to combine Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Mizrachi, maybe even other forms of Judaism, and to really embrace one another while embracing a larger heritage. So it is not yet Hanukkah, but I'm certainly thinking about it, and I know that it will soon be upon us. And so I invite you to learn about new traditions and to honor them and the strong people in your life as well.